Hello, and welcome to Marketplace with Charles, brought to you by Art of Skincare. Art of Skincare, bringing out the beauty in you. I am Charles Ngobeni. On Marketplace, we aim to empower, encourage, and equip you with the right tools needed to move closer to achieving your entrepreneurial goals. Each week, we bring you insights from experts in different fields of business, people from men and women of faith, even from ordinary people from all walks of life. Today, we invite you from your living room to explore one of the most sought-after forms of aid for business, government grants. These are at your disposal in your quest for success in business. Our guest in studio is Mr. Ambani Ramaru. We all know that our government here in South Africa has increasingly expressed its interest in moving the country forward by making different types of grants available for anyone who may put themselves in a position to be eligible for one. However, it will be close to impossible to gain access to any of these if you do not have the necessary information of what is out there and how you can go about accessing it for your own benefit. Mr. Ambani Ramaru is a custodian of the information that you so much needed to have to get and start your journey of success. Mr. Ambani, welcome to Marketplace with Charles.
Thanks, Mr. Ngobeni, and greetings to all the viewers.
I suppose a good place to start would be for you to tell the viewers a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you come from, and your background.
All right. Thank you so much. My name is Ambani Ramaru. I come from Limpopo, General Vendor, but I'm currently based in Pretoria right now. Well, just to give the viewers a little bit about myself, I have a degree in economics with UNISA, and I've done project finance in London, UK, and I've done small business development in Italy, and also music research in Denmark, and many other certification.
So you can see viewers out there, we have got an expert in the house. I hope we are going to inspire you to get started with your own business for as little as almost like nothing. Can you give us a brief background on government grants and what it entails?
Okay, thanks. Government grants in particular is instruments that are meant to rejuvenate and to start businesses. We have grants as small as 350. That's the minimum.
What is 350?
350,000 rather.
Oh, 350,000.
Yes, out to 200 million.
Oh,
grants.
Up to 200 million.
200 million.
A grant.
A grant.
Okay.
That is about your tax breaks now when for big investments in the manufacturing. And grants are mostly in the manufacturing, some are in the services industry. So those grants are basically intended to start a business, to aid a business, and to increase in competitiveness in the business.
When you talk of a grant, what is the difference between maybe a grant and a loan?
Well, a grant is the money that the government will be offering an applicant who is a citizen of that particular country,
yes,
with the intention of giving them to assist them in business without requesting it backwards, saying pay it back. So it's basically saying it's an offer that will give you an incentive of doing a business. So you've started a business, we appreciate you doing business, but this is a token of appreciation that says continue to do this, and also to help you cut the costs and many other things that can hinder your progress and competitiveness in business.
So grant, you don't have to pay it back?
Grant, you don't have to pay it back.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yes, vis-a-vis the loan that you have to pay back.
And it's so strange that most of the people, they go for loan if they can access grants.
Yes,
you
most
know,
of them.
I'm one of the victims of that. You know, had I known, as an example, that I can apply for grants in some of my businesses,
yes,
I would have gone for grants rather than a loan that I had to pay in a 5-year period.
Maybe it's time you come for the grant.
But can you elaborate a little bit more? Why government grants? in South Africa?
Okay, thanks. Government grants in South Africa is simply that now we're we're in a global village. That's number one. Two, within our countries, you know the history of our country.
Yes.
Now it's a bigger pool of people who are playing in the space. So meaning that every person is free to do business. However, we're not starting on the same space. As you know, the government of the time simply say, we have so many other people who want to do a business and create jobs. So the government goes and say, what are the priorities for government that we need to move the country forward? So they identify the space like manufacturing, like services in tourism sector, like arts, and then they decide to say, for people to be able to start this, we're putting in grants as an instrument of moving them forward. So it's more like a starter or more like a subsidy in a way. So government uses those instruments to make people to start a business.
This is real economic freedom.
Yes.
If I were to put it that
yes.
way. Look, there has been grants in the past. And you are also talking about grants now.
Yes.
How effective are they?
Well,
are they really useful?
Well, they are, particularly for the new businesses.
Yes.
You know, particularly that are black owned, as we know where we come from, you know, and where we are, they become very useful because instead of manufacturing or even buying things from China or elsewhere, you know, if you manufacture them here locally, usefulness of them is they cut the cost of doing business, they create jobs locally, and then they also increase our GDP and balance of payments when then we export, particularly to other African countries, and also put the government or the country to be competitive in comparison. So they have been very useful and their impact is actually visible.
So in other words, will I be correct if I say the government grants, they benefit both the government itself and the individual?
Correct. So entrepreneurs benefits a lot and government also benefits because their job is to say the welfare of the people, so people are getting jobs.
Yes.
But the other trick is that government gets a tax out of the people who are employed. So tax grows, you know, and then it becomes that economic cycle that, you know, it continues to snowball going forward.
Even when you, other than getting tax from the people who are employed,
yes,
the more successful you become,
yes,
the more you become an asset to the government.
Exactly. So we have more assets as a country.
It makes sense. We'll continue with our conversation with my guest, Mr. Ambani Ramaru, after the break. Looking at the issue of government grants, you are watching Marketplace with Charles, brought to you by Art of Skin Care. Please stay with us. Welcome back. If you have just joined us, you are watching Marketplace with Charles. It is no secret that many of the aspiring entrepreneurs fail or fall off the bandwagon, some of them even before they have traveled the first mile, as a result of not having some correct information of what qualifies them to become eligible to these grants. Mr. Ambani Ramaru, can you touch a little bit around these issues of the qualifications around the grants and who's eligible?
Okay, thank you so much. So basically grants will differ in terms of sizes. You mentioned they start somewhere about 350,000 to 200 million.
Yes.
So there will be a lot of differences in there. But then there are also basic things. Basic things will be you have your company registered as a corporate citizen, as a PTY LTD.
Your company registered?
Yes, company registered.
Yes.
With CIPC. At the DTI. That is one. Then you will need to have tax clearance certificate that proves that you are tax compliant. You have paid your taxes if they are due. Right? They will give you the tax clearance certificate. You need a BE certificate, which shows how transformative are you. You know, how is your business transforming or participating in the transformation agenda of the country, and then the business plan for sure, with the financial projections that says, if you give us this money, this is what we're going to achieve, you know, in the next year, 2 or 3, whatever it may be. And then there will be those miscellaneous stuff that they may just ask you how many jobs you're going to create, and where you're going to have it, type of machinery and equipment, and the amount that you ask. So in basic form, those things that I mentioned will be your basic common stuff throughout all the incentives and grants.
Look, I understand the registration.
Yes.
Of your company. I understand a business plan.
Yes.
I understand SARS.
Yes.
But why BEE certificate?
Okay. Interesting question. BEE certificate, as we mentioned earlier, that the country comes from a place where there was exclusion.
Yes.
Now everybody's included. So you find there's a pocket of people who have, you know, enough resources, you know, but then there's another pocket of people who do not have enough resources. So it's a process of, it's a certificate that proves both those who have or don't have, you know, to say how are you participating in the transformation space by bringing people who don't have into what you already have. And as they add value, how much do they gain out of that?
Who adds value?
So the question is, whoever that is coming on board, the person who either is providing certain services in this big business that is already established, when they come on board, you for sure pay them for their service while they benefit. But by bringing a service is to add value, while you pay them for that, and that makes their business to grow while yours is also growing. Later, then it shows that all of us are participating in the economy. Then that BE certificate proves where you are in the value chain. So we have level 8 to 1. Which is non-compliant up to 1, which you have done all that you could within your business.
Which one is level 1?
Level 1 will be the best compliant company.
Yes.
That says you have used all the resources according to government legislation to bring in particularly the small black-owned businesses. So the two then will be saying that you almost there, you know, and that could be your 90%, your 3 will be your 80%, your level 4 will be maybe about your 60%, and like that. When you are at 8, it means that you have not done anything.
You are very stingy.
In a way, you're stingy. You're not moving, you're not sharing, you don't want anything to do with other people.
And I think one of the ideas of BEE would be a transferation or to transfer skills.
Yes, yes.
You know, because we need to learn from someone out there who has already done it.
Yes.
I don't think it's like I'm grabbing your business.
No, it's not.
But it's like, help me with the skills that I need.
Yeah, correct. So in the BEE, you'll find that there is an element of skills development.
Yeah.
That says 6% of your payroll need to be committed to develop the skills of anybody in South Africa, particularly those, your employees, and bring them up in knowledge and also technical knowledge, and as well as the other SMEs that are outside, but those are probably providing a service to your business.
The historically disadvantaged.
Exactly.
After the break, we wrap up this episode of Government Grants. You are watching Marketplace with Charles. Stay with us and don't touch that dial. Welcome back to Marketplace with Charles. Our distinguished guest today is Mr. Ambani Ramaru, very well qualified to guide us through the concept of government grants and why you should take advantage of them instead of using your own money. If you are to see our country moving forward, competing successfully in a global village and tackling the scourge of unemployment, we should never underestimate the importance of entrepreneurship. Mr. Ramaru, let's wrap up this episode by having you explain how an aspiring entrepreneur can gain access to these grants.
Okay, thank you. So the grants, because they're provided by the government, there are few government departments that are selected to do that.
Yes.
And one in particular will be the Department of Trade and Industry.
DTE.
DTI.
DTI.
Yeah, they usually call it that way, DTI, as a shortcut. But those who may not, know that it will be the Department of Trade and Industry.
Yeah.
So the website of the Department of Trade and Industry has all the information about all the grants, as I mentioned, from smallest to the biggest. Mm-hmm. And the direction for sure will be the website of the Department of Trade and Industry and the Small Business Department, the newly formed government department. Mm-hmm. That's where you also find some of the grants.
Can you give me examples of the grants which are out there?
Okay.
If I do agriculture, what is it that the government can assist me in that? If I do mining,
yes.
What is it that the government can assist? If I want to do a restaurant, mm-hmm. How can the government assist in the form of a grant?
Okay, so in the form of a grant, we have that smaller one, which is called cooperatives incentives for about 350,000. That is for mostly rural businesses, mm-hmm. your chicken farming, your spaza shops, and so forth with small business department. Then there's another one called Black Business Supply Development Program that gives up to R1 million. For sure, there are requirements that needs to be met, as we mentioned already. Mm-hmm. And then as they grow by, that gives up to R1 million. Then we'll have another one called Strategic Partnership Program. That in particular deals with collaboration between government and big business for them to bring in these small businesses, and that talks to BEE directly. Mm-hmm. And then that will give up to 45 million and on a cost-sharing basis. So most of these are on a cost-sharing basis. And then you also have your incentive 12I, wherein if investing money up to about 2 billion rand, you can get that tax break of 200 million.
Is it?
Yes, over time.
200 million?
200 million breaks.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yes. And then you have critical infrastructure. You have those that applied for the municipality, for the markets, local markets. So it's quite a number of them. As I mentioned on the website, they should be able to find more of those.
You spoke of a critical infrastructure.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
Critical infrastructure will talk to a big business, manufacturing concern that wants to go in the most rural area, Northern Cape, where there's probably no road, no telecommunication, no electricity. So you will establish your firm that wants to manufacture tissue or out of skin care, the products there in Northern Cape. You have the funding that you've allocated for the project exactly, but you need to travel. The trucks need to go and collect the stock and so forth and so on, come back and to and fro. So that critical infrastructure will be for the roads, it will be for the telecommunication, it will be also for the electricity. Those infrastructural stuff that you need to make sure that the commercialization of your business it's working. Mm-hmm. Yes, which that gives up to about 50 million rands.
I'm trying to work it out of my mind that if I were to go to the bank and make a loan for 50 million rand,
yes.
One, what are the chances of me getting such a loan?
Yeah, they may be very slim.
What are the impact will the loan repayment have to my cash flow?
It could be damaging.
Versus the grant, which I don't have to pay back.
Yes. The grant simplifies your life.
I think most of us will lack this knowledge.
Yes.
No, definitely. This is the knowledge which every South African should be aware of and take advantage of this wealth of knowledge.
Yes.
And go for the grants wherever possible.
Yes.
And if you can save a cent in your business, it will make a big and a remarkable difference. You know, if you look at the power of compounding interest, every cent counts.
It's amazing.
You know, whenever I walk around in my house, I see 10 cents, I pick it up. I don't leave it lying around. And my kids will laugh at me and say, but Papa, that's 10 cents or 10 rand. I said, no.
It adds a lot of value.
It adds up. You are not a millionaire if you are 1 cent short. You are not. Look, what are the chances of a positive response if you apply for a grant?
Well, the chances are very high because the guidelines or the government does not do this in secrecy or in secret. So they will say these are the requirements, like we mentioned, company registration, business plans, and. So those things are clearly laid out there. So if you comply with those things, that's it. You have to comply with the requirements and submit your application, and that's it. Then it will be taken to the various committees, and if they like them, if they like what is in there, if it talks to the requirements, you're good to go.
I'm a white person. As an example, do I qualify for government grants?
Well, you do. You do. Anybody qualifies, as long as you're a South African or you're doing a business in South Africa, as long as the requirements are met.
Are you saying even people from outside the country, they also qualify as long as they do business in South Africa?
Yes, they qualify, and it also depends on how much they want to do business here and how long they're going to stay here, and also their contribution locally. I think we also have to check return on investment. Are you then investing here and sit outside and collect the money out to go outside? So you have to be here, transform here, develop here, then they will qualify.
Job creation. That's what marketplace is all about.
Yes, job creation.
Yes. Tell me, I go into the website.
Yes.
I look for grants. I Google it.
Yes.
I still don't understand it. Are you able to assist me?
Greatly so, by all means. I'm able to assist, take you through the whole process, what this grant means and what are the requirements, and also help you in preparing all the documentation required until we submit the application to the relevant department.
Let's go back to the requirements.
Okay.
And take it slowly.
All right.
Which ones are you able to do?
Well, what I'm able to do will be accept the cooperatives,
Yes.
the one for 350,000.
Yeah.
And the Black Business Supply Development Program, because they're accredited people for that.
Yeah.
But the rest of them, I'm able to assist with that.
Which ones are the rest? Explain. Take it slowly.
Okay, let's take it slow. The rest will be all your manufacturing incentives.
Yes.
Which one? Strategic Partnership Program.
Right.
That's one. Then you also have critical infrastructure.
Yeah.
That is two. You also have Black Industrialist Program. That is three.
Yes.
We also have 12I. It's called 12 incentive. The big one of them all.
Yes.
And then we also have cluster development program. That one also. And then we also have shared infrastructure. That is basically for rural communities that are the markets. You know, our normal rural markets will buy the fruits and vegetables and all that, where they share the infrastructure. And I'm also able to assist with the AIS. It's called automotive incentive. Yes.
In other words, you'll be able to assist in drafting the business plan.
Yes.
You'll also be able in assisting in acquiring the BEE certificate.
Correct.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Thank you.
That's brilliant.
Thank you.
Viewers out there, look, the help is there. It's right in front of you. You have got no reason to remain poor anymore. The government has done everything possible, what they can, to make your life a better life. But before I let you go, Mr. Ambani,
Yes.
where can people get hold of you? Because it's one thing to tell viewers out there that you're able to do all these other things. They get excited. You know, it's just like the teachers of the word of God and the evangelist.
Yes.
You know, the evangelist just comes and pump you up and pump you up. At the end of the service, they ask you, what is it that you have learned? You said, no, the service was beautiful, was brilliant, but what is it that you have learned? And a teacher comes in and teaches you the word of God, dwells into the word of God, and you go back home, you say the service was boring, but he has deposited a lot in you.
Yes.
So now that they have given us all this wealth of information, and I know you can help us,
Yes.
tell the viewers out there where they can get hold of you.
Well,
And how can they access Ambani Ramaru
okay.
for assistance?
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Ngobeni. Viewers, you can get hold of me at or through my email address called Terence, TERRENCE at EBCOP. EBCOP, it's EBCORP.co.za. My Facebook page is Ambani Ramaru. You can also get me there. But much more, I will appreciate that you contact me by my email address. Thank you so much.
That's great. That was Ambani Ramaru guiding us through the information and process of going about acquiring one of the government grants available for you out there. It has been a pleasure having you, Ambani.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ngobeni. I appreciate it.
Great. Thank you for watching Marketplace with Charles Ngobeni, brought to you by Art of Skincare, bringing out the beauty in you. Do remember to get in touch with me on charlesngobeni.com. You may want to follow me on Instagram, Charles_Ngobeni, or even like us on Facebook page, Charles Ngobeni. See you next time, and God bless you.